And we're live. Welcome to Lakers Late Night. I am Anthony Irwin. The Lakers won today, so I get to wear the colors. Usually it's like you got to put a bag over your face and pretend that you don't really like the Lakers. When people ask me what I do for a living, I just kind of say, well, and you just like let that explanation suffice for everybody else. Harrison, it's nice to see your face. It's usually covered by a bag.
You what? You thought I was wearing a bag this whole time? Words hurt, Anthony.
I thought it was a mask. I can't lie, but
I feel old sometimes, but I'm just 24. I don't have that many wrinkles that you should think I have like a plastic bag over my face.
I was hoping for your own benefit, but I guess that's a step too far. But no, the Lakers won today. How are you handling the game?
A lot better until you called me ugly, but it was no, it was a pretty good game. It was okay, so just putting aside the fact that there's no reason that D'Angelo Russell should sit an entire fourth quarter, but we're going to talk about that. We've hit it so many times, but I got to say, we just have to take a second, step back from the process of it, and appreciate that we got to see at least one more Kobe Bryant clutch fourth quarter coming through without a caveat of, oh, he came down and airballed the next one. He did it, and then he didn't mess anything up after it, and they got out of Washington with a win, and we can just pretend that he's the Kobe of old for one more night.
Yeah, that's where, see, before we came on the air, I was telling you that I was having thoughts that I wasn't necessarily happy that I was having. And it was that during the game, Kobe was shooting these shots, and the ball was going through the basket, but you're still like, still a really stupid shot. And like in years past, I'd just be able to, set aside my own personal preference for how the game could or should be played and just kind of say like, wow, I can't believe he made that shot. Wow, I can't believe he did it again. Oh my God, he has how many points in the fourth quarter? Tonight was the first time I was like, man, I'm that douchebag. I've been blogging for way too long.
Well, based off of how they got the win, you can definitely argue that they should have lost that game. They gave up the big lead that they built up in the first half. They let Washington get ahead, and then it was back and forth for the rest of the game. And then Kobe took some awful, awful jumpers, and he just made them. And realistically, statistically, he's shooting 30% on the field or on the season. He should not, and less than that on threes. I would imagine even less than that on splayed leg pull-up threes with 3 seconds only off the shot clock. And so, yeah, they definitely should have lost that game based on the process of how they went about it. But they won, and I gotta say, even I'm really cynical, as you know, but even the cynic in me can't help but enjoy that part of it, that he got to we got to see him hit 2 more crazy jumpers and close out a game. And any time could be the last time at this point. I mean, he's not, I'm saying it like he's dying. He's not dying, but I mean, he's going to retire, and he's been so bad this year that you don't know if you're going to get another chance to see him play like this.
Right. And that's where, the last thing I ever want to do in this industry is take myself too seriously, or take the game too seriously, or take my analysis too seriously. And in this case, it was really, really cool. I mean, Kobe called the game surreal after the fact, right? And this is a winner of championships, multiple championships, 5 championships, saying that their second or third win on the season on a random Tuesday night in Washington, D.C. is a surreal moment. And in that sense,
third win. You said, yeah.
Yeah, second or third win, or third win. That Kobe is calling that a surreal moment. I'm sitting there like, all right, let's take a step back and really try to really enjoy the moment. And Twitter, I would say, reflected that, where it was a whole bunch of vintage vino or rememberable is how I was going to put it, but
that is just abominable, even for you. Oh, okay, Drew. I know you normally don't edit these post-game podcasts, but you just have to cut this part out. That was just god awful. Anthony, apologize to the viewers right now.
Oh, I'm afraid to look at my phone. Usually when I say stuff like that, I'll have 4 or 5 mentions when I get back. I apologize in advance to the listeners in the morning.
I apologize to all of you for that. I mean, I'm going to ask for his job to be taken away after this. That was unforgivable.
Nonverbal. All right.
Oh,
But
jeez. Okay,
getting
but
back to
anyway,
the actual setting and the actual team and watching that team win, you have to think for everybody involved, this is one of those, look, you just get the win. Kobe wound up playing how many, 36, 37 minutes? 36 minutes tonight.
yeah.
And to a certain extent, I usually don't explain it away because the results shouldn't decide the means to which you get there. But, in this sense, if Byron says after the game, you know what, I thought we could win this one. Kobe was feeling it. I just let him ride with it. I guess this isn't that's not the worst thing to hear after the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, you almost don't want them to get these wins because it just, Byron's sitting there on the bench like, this is why I leave Kobe in and let him take all the shots because clutch. He knows how to win and how to be a Laker and grit and toughness. And, he just got blown by on defense. That was probably Russell's fault.
I couldn't, brief side note, I couldn't help but laugh. Kobe made some clutch free throws and then made sure to point to whoever was behind him. Hey, I'm switching off. I got John Wall here. And then he goes under all the screens, gives Wall like a foot and a half where the only thing you can't give up there is a three. And what does Wall do is he hits a three right in Kobe's face. And you're like, clutch. Clutch defensive performance there from Kobe Bryant.
I was just laughing. It's like the only thing you can't give up right now when you're up 4 is a three. You can't give up a three. That's later in the game. And of course, what did they do? Give up a wide open three.
That was great. That was great. We'll move on to the rest of the game. Anything else you have to add on Kobe? It was good to see, like you said, some of the shots go in. 10 for 24 on the night. Easily his best shooting performance of the season. 4 of 11 from 3. 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 31 total points, 3 assists, 2 turnovers.
We need to get the alert siren going because we also have an alert for more points than shots, which is sadly an alert we have to have for Kobe this year. But he had more points than shots, so that's good. And you were talking about him saying it was surreal. Like that was surreal for you to hear him calling the team's third win a surreal thing. Third win out of like 20 games. And maybe he's just treating this whole season like a playoff series and thinks they only need 4 wins to move on to the next round. So
they got a big win on the road. Now
yeah.
Home court advantage shifts back to Los Angeles.
After their next six games, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. These next few don't count. They got 1 win on the road.
Exhibition games.
Yeah. Moving on to the rest of the team, the trend of point guards killing the Lakers continued. John Wall, 34 points, 11 rebounds, almost a triple-double, got 7 rebounds. What did I say? 34 points, 11 assists, 7 rebounds. I'm better at this than I promise. The remarkable comment threw me off. I can't lie. That was especially bad.
I think that the Lakers should have to lose the next 6 games just for that. Like,
they will.
Punishment for a Lakers blogger saying that. That was horrible.
But looking at the Lakers, Julius Randle, I think, played. Would you say that's the best he's played this season?
I don't know about that. I think sometimes we get too caught up in raw counting statistics. Was it great to see him pull down 19 rebounds like that and play really well? Yeah. I don't know that it was his best game of the season. It was definitely up there. It was top 3.
Yeah, and I mean he hasn't played very many games.
The Wizards also, they've been so bad at giving up rebounds and not rebounding that Bullets Forever, the local Wizards blog, ran a pretty good article about a week or 2 ago where it was after the game. Randy Whitman said, I could have went out there at my age and gotten a rebound. And so they simulated 60-something-year-old Randy Whitman into 2K and logged the results to figure out if he could get a rebound. That's how bad it's been for them about rebounding this year.
Did he get a rebound?
I think he got 4, and they got the win. despite playing him every minute of the game.
Randy Whitman manned up and won a big game for the Washington Wizards. But Randall, not Randy, finished with 15 points, 19 boards, 12 of them offensive. And at this point, he has
Wait, 12 of them were offensive?
Or,
I didn't see that.
Oh, no,
wow.
seven offensive, 12
okay.
of them defensives. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
But even,
I mean, that's 7 offensive rebounds, still great. But if he had 12 offensive rebounds, that almost really proves my point.
Yeah. But he, at this point, is grabbing at least 1 or 2 of those rebounds a game, or making 1 or 2 of those plays a game where you're like, whoa. And tonight, the other night, it was the rebound he got with one hand, pivoted, went up and under, finished the play. Tonight, he grabbed another one of those crazy rebounds, creating another offensive possession, I think that led to a Jordan Clarkson foul and 2 free throws down the stretch. It's great to see him as active as he is, despite not, necessarily getting the usage he's used to throughout his career to this point.
Yeah. No, Randall's been he's been great.
Sorry,
I saw like a quote come through and I lost track. I'll just be completely honest. I lost track of who you were talking about.
I shoot it over
because we're good at this.
Yeah. Harrison, what are your thoughts? Yep. All right, moving on. But with Randall's rebounding, a lot of it has to do with the Washington Wizards being terrible on the boards. But I did notice that he has great instincts. With Kevin Love, in his prime when he was grabbing all those boards, you'd watch him before, and he had a knack for reading how the ball was going to careen off the rim.
Yeah.
I'm noticing the same kind of thing with Randall.
Yeah, I think that you could definitely say anytime you get 19 rebounds, it's not just luck. They aren't just falling to you. You're going after it. And he gets after it. As cliche as that sounds, he wants to pull down those boards, and Hibbert gives him a great chance to do that, like we talked about in the preseason, because his main focus is just keeping his guy off the glass.
Mm-hmm.
Which again helps the Lakers more, because if somebody besides Hibbert rebounds, then that's a better chance to get off on a fast break, which we saw a lot during the first half tonight when the Lakers were just running and running and running.
Totally. The other guy who I thought was underratedly good tonight was Lou Williams, who I believe finished with 12 points. Whoop, and there goes my stat page.
Yeah, he was 12 points, 3 of 8 shooting, 4 of 4 free throws, of course, 2 of 4 on 3. So that was his best game in a few. So that's good to see from him. That you just had to think that he couldn't possibly play as bad as he was playing, and that he would at least regress to the mean a little bit, and in this case, jump back up towards the mean.
Totally, and I thought he, I thought he does a good job, or did a better job tonight, of not necessarily forcing the action. I thought he made a few good passes, 4 assists on the night, somehow got 7 steals. What the hell are you doing, Washington Wizards?
I think that some of those you would have to be pretty charitable to quantify them as an actual steal, where it was his job, where he went out there and made a defensive play. I would imagine some of those are just balls bouncing to him. The Wizards were pretty careless with the rock tonight.
They were really, yeah. It was I remember seeing the Lakers official Twitter account tweet out that the Lakers forced some however many turnovers.
Russell had a career high 4 steals.
Yeah, he I wouldn't say they forced turnovers so much as they nudged them in the right way.
We're the recipient of gifts.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to make a terrible joke that definitely would have gotten me fired. I'll save it for after the show. The last tidbit here about this game, and it's unfortunate, we usually try to start positive or start negative and finish positive. We flipped it this tonight because we aren't used to the Lakers winning. D'Angelo Russell again gets benched in the fourth quarter in a game I didn't think he was playing particularly poorly. In fact, aside from Jordan Clarkson, who had a +2 net rating, or finished net rating +2, D'Angelo Russell finishes -1. I I just don't understand it. I'm lost on it. You're playing against one of the best point guards in the league in a clutch situation. The ball's going to go to Kobe anyway. It's not like you're worried that D'Angelo Russell is going to somehow screw up an ISO for Kobe. I just don't understand what Byron's thinking there.
So I think in this case, it's twofold. I think on one hand, you have, yes, D'Angelo Russell needs the development, but on the other hand, I think what Byron's thinking is like you said, yeah, Lou Williams played pretty well tonight. He was shooting pretty well. And so he's not, and again, like you said, Kobe is mostly going to handle the ball, so you don't have to worry about having another point guard out there. So I would imagine his thinking was that Lou Williams could play off the ball a little bit more and space the floor maybe a little bit better for Kobe ISO possessions, I guess.
Yeah, I
don't agree with it. I'm just trying to jump into what he's thinking. I think that there's really no reasonable excuse for Russell to not be out there, no matter how he's playing. But like you said, he wasn't even bad tonight.
Right. I don't think he's been bad in quite a while. Like, I haven't watched a game recently where I just said, all right, yeah, he probably shouldn't play in, any fourth quarter minutes here. But for some reason they keep on playing him. They keep on playing him or sitting him in these situations that you just, man, it could be really good to have him out there. I just think John Wall is one of the toughest guards in the pros. When else is he going to learn to play against John Wall in an away game that was essentially a home game? Like, you can't possibly stack the deck any better for D'Angelo Russell to get some of these minutes.
Yeah, I just don't get it. And then for him to have the least minutes of the starters too was kind of ridiculous.
Right. And
especially when Hibbert, I'm starting to worry a little bit about Hibbert. He's playing a bit more than his career average pretty consistently. And at his size, you have to kind of figure there's a reason that he was getting a little bit more rest. And as much as the Lakers, I get why he's on the floor, because the Lakers defense absolutely falls apart without him out there. He's the only really good defender on the team. But it's just you start there. It's going to be even worse if they have to move to starting Brandon Bassett center.
To be completely fair, at no point in any of this season has Byron Scott said that one of his top priorities is getting Roy Hibbert to the end of the season upright. We should not expect that from Byron, because he hasn't concretely stated that was one of his priorities this year.
Maybe he has the magical power to prevent injuries. Like, Kobe hasn't gotten injured yet, and he did say that he wanted him to make it through the season standing, and everybody got injured last year, and he didn't specify that he wanted anyone to remain healthy last year. So
yeah, you could be
right.
That was his problem last year. He didn't specifically say that health was a priority. This year, health is a priority. He's overplaying everybody, and people are healthy.
New Lakers medical staff technique: tell the media that you plan to keep a player healthy, and they'll feel pressured to not fake an injury.
Yeah.
Or have a real injury.
Yeah. Hey, Phoenix Suns training staff, suck on that. Oh man. All right. So we're in a good mood. The Lakers got to win tonight. Let's have a little bit of fun here. I'll start, and I'm going to sum up this game by a song. I'm making this up as we go. So give me a second here. I'm going to make up a song to completely summarize this game. And yeah, the song that comes immediately to head is that Mambo Italiano song by Dean Martin, because I'm old as hell. And it was just it's an old retro song. Byron or Kobe finally, pulled one of these great performances out of a hat. Had some huge shots down the stretch here that you had either Vino or Mamba all over the damn Twitter sphere. So let's stick with the Italian theme and say Mambo Italiano.
Okay, I'm going to go in a different direction and say Whitney Houston, greatest love of all, just for that line, I believe children are our future, because that was the reason that the Lakers got their lead in the first half, was they really let the kids off the leash. And I don't know why they had their kids on a leash. Somebody should probably call Child Protective Services, but they let the kids off the harness, and and they played really well. They got out in transition, and it was good to see. And again, Randall, career high in rebounds. He played probably arguably his best game of the season. I didn't think Russell was bad. Clarkson, again, just quietly efficient. Yeah, children of the future, man.
There you go. I mean, so there you have it, guys. For all of you who come watching for updated references and snappy humor based on, you know, today's everything that's going on, topical events, I go Dean Martin, you go Whitney Houston. That'll just about do it for us.
Real quick, just to play the quote game.
Oh yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Always fun.
We were talking about D'Angelo Russell sitting on the bench, and while his opinion on it shouldn't necessarily matter, I get he should be playing regardless of how he feels about it, unless he's injured or something like that, because he needs that development time. He was cheering on the bench the whole time, and he was quoted on Time Warner Cable Sportsnet after the game. He was just kind of raving about it was awesome to see Kobe get to do that. I was a fan, just get to really witness and see it in person, and that Kobe makes the away games feel like a home environment. And then Larry Nance Jr. wasted no time tweeting a picture of a black, like just the color black, like a black square, a snake, and then equals goat.
Okay.
Like Black Mamba equals goat. Yeah, okay.
No, it's just okay. All right, you do
He
you.
pulled out that phone the second he got to the locker room. Larry, you need to go shower first. Like,
no, he anticipated not playing in the fourth quarter. He had that ready to go on the bench. Like
he was texting from the bench. That was a scheduled
He had
tweet.
it saved in drafts as soon as the game ended. You know this. He had to hit a deadline. We know what the deadline's like.
Yeah, I guess we had Jordan Clarkson tweeting from the bench in the preseason. He just set a bad example for the rookies.
I'll say this, and you brought this point up earlier about Russell, that I think is one of the better points made about him and his maturity or lack thereof, according to some, is that I think he really responds to the situation around him, right? Where when the Lakers lose a tough game, you're not going to get any decent quotes from him because he's down in the dumps, you know, that way. When the Lakers win a game like they did tonight, and it was a lot of fun for everybody involved, that's when he's more liable or viable to open up to everybody. And when you see what he's talking about there, I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's from my very limited experience being credentialed. It's like in Summer League, the one game that they won, he was a great quote. He was super happy to be there. He was really excited. He was messing around with it was Clarkson. He was trying to get him to like make a face or something while he was doing his availability with us. And then after losses, the camera was really bright and he didn't want to look. He was really monosyllabic with his answers. And we've seen that this season too. When they lose, he's not in that great of a mood, but he was in as good of a mood in the locker room as I've ever seen him that game after they beat Maccabi Haifa.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say if the game ended tonight and he was still upset about not playing in the fourth, that's when we start to worry about, hey, you know, the team won, maybe just suck it up for one game when the team wins, even though it would still be viable criticism or decent logical criticism to say, yeah, he should be frustrated that he can't get in the fourth quarter. But, you know, that he's able to put all that aside, root for his teammates, respond like a fan, and give a good quote after the game should at least keep those dogs at bay for another day or so.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll do it for tonight's Lakers late night. The next Laker game, oh man, Harrison. We got to get better at this. The next
Lakers game is Friday.
Friday, so we have
I didn't realize that's what you were talking about.
No, I should have had this schedule up and everything, but I don't. The next Lakers game is Friday. Mercifully, we have a nice long break where we don't have to watch or think about the Lakers for a little bit. So that's kind of nice.
It's one day.
No.
Today's Wednesday.
Are you kidding me? All right.
Breaking. Well, today is Wednesday.
I'm going senile, guys. I haven't had a day off.
It's time to sign off. Between that and Momberable or whatever the hell you said at the beginning of this podcast. Sorry, iTunes.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're out of here. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Anthony.